Our Minister Yeoh just announced an 80% reduction in gym license fee in Kuala Lumpur to tackle obesity issues.
Lowering the rate from 50 ringgit to 10 ringgit per square meter.
Before, gyms paid about 5,000 a year for the license fee. After 80% cut, it is 1,000. How much saving do you think we as members will actually get?
There are mega gyms out there that their license per year can be 20, 30, 40,000 ringgit because it's based on square meters. Now to those gyms, it's a big amount, but still again, if you translate it to the number of members, if you do the math, it's maybe 2 ringgit savings that we can pass on to them per month.
Yeoh said the move followed 3 years of engagement with industry players, including the Malaysia Gymnasium Association.
3 years to come up to this. Who were they speaking to? The government or whoever implemented this does not understand what it takes to actually be fit and healthy. They think that, okay, make gym cheaper lah. People will go, you know which country has the most gym per capita in the world? America. And guess what? They're number one at obesity and diabetes as well.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So it's not a problem of having more gyms.
There have been many studies that say people who sign up to gyms don't end up using it, and those are the majority of people. If I was to be very conservative, more than 60% of people don't use their gym membership. Giving discounts, would it help to solve that problem? No, actually not.
Malaysia is number one for obesity, diabetes, mostly NC and non-communicable diseases.
Welcome to the Unfair Advantage, where leaders reveal the edge behind building great companies and careers. And today, we are going to be discussing this very topic.
So the government will cut gym license fees by 80%. I think today we just want to unpack it together. To give context to what we're talking about today, our YB Yeoh actually mentioned that we're going to cut gym license fees in KL by 80%. So make it cheaper, right? It caused a lot of stir because after that, everyone was like, oh great, that means government announcing 80% reduction in gym operating license fees means that gym operators can pass the savings to the public through discounted membership or special rates and so on. So maybe today, let's maybe unpack some of the comments and everything based on our points of view. You can agree or disagree, it's totally up to you.
So wait, 80% saving.
So that means gym license
How much
fees.
are we paying here?
So for a studio this size, you're looking at about 1,600 square feet. We're paying roughly about 1,700 ringgit per year. If let's say 80%, we're saving less than 120 ringgit per month.
Yep. Around there? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so
Correct this.
that's another context as well, 120 ringgit
So
per
how
month.
much are we saving that much? And then how much are we paying instead every month? Every year?
Every year, wow, okay.
300-400?
Yeah, you'll be paying around that.
Okay.
But the question is this, 120 ringgit per month saving doesn't even start to cover your utility bills or your internet.
And here's the thing, for the longest time, because I've been doing fitness business mentoring to a lot of gym owners, all right, especially the smaller studios, right? Not so much the big commercial gyms that you see internationally like FF or AF. Many of them actually are just breaking even, or some of them are actually running at a loss from month to month. So for this saving to take place, it's actually something where they go, okay, now I'm getting back maybe 1,000 plus or 2,000 ringgit. I can finally have a breather. And if you talk about passing on the saving to then helping members to save more money by giving discounts, I think many of them will not do it.
There are a lot of interesting comments.
Okay.
So maybe let's unpack it because I think a lot of what you say will kind of tie into this.
All right.
There were two comments I feel like has been repeated a lot, so I'll just mention it. First of all, gym owners are too greedy to lower their prices. And yeah, right, gym would just keep charging the same and have more profit.
So which was exactly the opposite of what I just shared.
Yes.
Look, if you ask who actually has a lot of insights in how the gyms out there are doing, it's people like me. I might not have the stats of like the entire Malaysia, but from dozens of students I work with, that appears to be somewhat the opposite. What do you think?
I think just based on myself visiting gym owners and all that, I know that a lot of gym owners are actually struggling to hit revenue and all that because there's so many choices out there. And let's be real, the majority of gym owners who run a business came from coaching and personal training background. They don't have a business background. So I think the reality is gym owners are not, driving in their Ferraris or Lambos and printing money from gym memberships and so on. I speak on behalf of boutique gym owners because we run a boutique business. Can't speak about the big box ones, but I can also tell you that if you look at operational capital cost, it's huge. Equipment is not cheap. And you need to understand that these things have to be maintained regularly as well. Second is operational costs, right? For us, smaller gyms, slightly small operational costs, but what about those massive gyms that are like 10,000 to 30,000 square feet? Then you got human capital that you need to pay, cleaning fees, so on and so forth. So if let's say licensing fee savings per month was about 100 and so let's say 120. Let's make it 120 ringgit for this kind of size. If we look at our operational costs per month, it's barely, it's not even 1% of our operational costs. So my question to you, the audience, is, if the government were to give you a 1% subsidy in your income, is it going to change your life? Or are you going to be able to pass on that savings to the people around you? So you cannot, right?
Yep. So let's just say a boutique studio our size selling gym memberships, gym access, group class, whatever. Let's just say they are saving, let me give you a higher number, okay, 200 ringgit per month. Now, 200 ringgit per month.
Okay, we have, say, 80 to 100 clients. So you're telling me that we give a discount of 1 to 2 ringgit per client.
So,
sorry, I'm laughing at this, but
yeah. Let's just say, for example, okay, if the saving works out to be 200 ringgit per month for the gym owner, based on YB Hannah Yeoh said, hopefully the gym owner can pass on the saving and give discounts to gym members, right?
Yeah.
If you were to give each gym member about 5 ringgit off, 40 gym members later, you will not be saving anything. You will not be passing on anything. Anything beyond, the gym owner will start losing money.
I think if we look at the numbers, it just doesn't make sense because a 1 to 5 ringgit savings doesn't really move the needle. But I think what I really believe here as well is it's not about getting people to go to the gym, it's literally about changing behavior. My question is, even if I cut gym fees to 50%, assuming I cut my gym fees to 50%, and yes, all the gym bros and gym sis, people who actually are healthy and fit and go to the gym, they will rejoice. But does that solve the obesity problem or the health problems in our country? Because the way I see it, I think we need to look at it from a different point of view. The people who are already going to the gym, who love a healthy lifestyle, they're already doing it irregardless of the price. But they are very, very small minority in Malaysia. Right now, we have 57%, if I'm not mistaken, of adults overweight and obese. 33 to 37% of our children are in that category as well. We should be targeting this category. So my question is this, even if I give 50% discount on gym membership, can we get them to go to the gym consistently and get the results, to move the needle? Because the problem is this, being unhealthy is very heavy on tax in Malaysia, medical tax, expenses, and so on and so forth. So people are not really seeing the bigger picture. I mean, I applaud the government for trying, but I think the public also needs to understand that there are many moving parts.
To spend 3 years to come up with this, I think it's not worth the effort.
It doesn't move the needle. It does not move the needle at all.
Yeah, this new policy, this new measure actually took 3 years, which I believe, yeah, sure, there are a lot of bureaucracy and all that stuff happening, and sometimes approvals needed, takes too long. But I would say if the 3 years, all this waiting time was to be spent on something concurrently to tackle the obesity issue, I think that would be great. I'm sure there's something being done, but I would say it seems to be not working because the obesity rate is amongst the highest in Asia.
Oh yeah, actually Malaysia is number one for obesity,
right,
for diabetes,
okay,
mostly NCD, non-communicable diseases.
So So the thing is, I'm sure there are a lot of measures, policies being done to tackle this, but it seems like it's not working. Because at the end of the day, those numbers and data, they don't lie. If it's working, it will reflect.
So another comment here is, and this is something that I think is interesting and it could work, right, is sugar tax. Do you know much about Malaysia's sugar tax? I actually did a deep dive on this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So interesting enough, Malaysia actually has a sugar tax. We've implemented a sugar tax in 2019. Obviously, it's not working because the obesity rates and diabetes rates have just skyrocketed in the past 10 years, right? And it's just growing. So it's not slowing down, it's not stopping. So that means whatever policies that were implemented were not working at all. What happened in 2019 was we introduced a sugar tax. We taxed 40 cents for every liter of sugary drink. And we only tax sugary drinks in packages. So that means like Coca-Cola, your teh kota, and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. And guess what happened? It changed behavior. So the good thing is it changed behavior. The bad thing is, so people went from buying Coca-Cola and all that to just double downing on teh tarik
Yep.
and kopi cham because no extra tax over there. So it did change behavior, but unfortunately the behavior did not move the needle. So I think implementing the policies are very important, but we have to be very intentional with how we do it. And if you don't mind giving me 2 more minutes, I read up on case studies as well. So there are 2 countries that implemented a sugar tax and they moved the needle. So let's talk about Mexico. I think Mexico implemented this back in 2014. I'm just remembering this on top of my head, so I could be wrong. 2014, they introduced a sugar tax, a 10% flat tax. That means not just on packages or drinks, even on the ingredient itself. Flat tax. On the first year, consumption of sugar actually dropped by 6%. And on the second year, consumption of sugar actually dropped by 10%. And that was in 2014. So it's been going on and on. I don't know if they've changed the tax or whatever. I believe they've reverted back already, which is bad news, but it moved the needle at the time. Right? Even researchers were commenting that because of that move, because of the reducing consumption, 190,000 cases of diabetes would not happen or would have been curbed. Right? Second case study, very interesting, the UK. So they created a sugar tax, but how they implemented it was very interesting. So they will tax you based on how much sugar you have in the drinks. Instead of changing the behavior of the consumer, they changed the behavior of manufacturers and businesses. So businesses are more inclined to, if I reduce my sugar to this threshold in my drink, I can pay less tax. So they reformulated their drinks. It moved a massive needle because they actually decreased childhood obesity and diabetes or whatever by 5% in the first 2 or 3 years. So the sugar tax actually works, but it just has to be implemented properly. Yeah.
Yes. Unfortunately, if you were to become the one that implement all of these, you're not gonna get a lot of support, right? Because the whole country is just full of food, filled with sugar and all that, and food is a big part of our culture. Okay, but someone needs to be firm enough to be like, hey guys, we are going down the wrong direction here with our obesity rate. I think we need to really pull it back a little bit and make a difference to our health this generation and beyond.
A lot of people say that, it's Malaysian food and culture, that's why we are becoming more obese and more diabetic. I think we have forgotten that during our grandfather days or our father's days, nasi lemak, char kway teow, all that was around. But no one was obese or very, very minimal people were obese. So what changed? Look at ingredients for Milo. The sugar content 30, 40 years ago versus sugar content today is very different. And I think from my understanding is because people's palates have changed, right? Last time you drink Milo, add a tiny bit of condensed milk, very sweet already. Today is like, you got your Milo dinosaur with sugar and marshmallows and stuff because it's not sweet enough. So our palate has also changed because maybe consumer habits, maybe manufacturing company, they understand the formula of making things taste amazing and they just double downing on it at the cost of our health.
And also our lifestyle has changed as well. We become less mobile.
Correct. More sedentary.
Yep.
Everything can be ordered on an app.
Yes.
I mean, it's great that they are giving a very small reprieve for gym owners, which is great, but more gyms is not going to create better health. If you don't believe me, you know which country has the most gym per capita in the world? America.
Oh,
and guess
where?
what? And guess what? The number one at obesity and diabetes as well.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Right? It's not a problem of having more gyms. It's really just, I think we have to really move the needle. In the past, we've spoken to amazing nutritionists and dietitians like Ziling and also James from Singapore. And it's a really concerted effort. And I think the thing that really moves the needle is we really need to get people to understand proper nutrition. Proper nutrition doesn't mean steamed chicken breast and eating broccoli. You're right, you can have your nasi lemak, you can have your char kway teow, you can eat proper food, tasty food, and still maintain weight. I think governments need to have a chat with nutritionists, dietitians like the ones I've mentioned, and there's a lot of them. I feel like they are the people who really know what needs to be done to really move the needle. But can I applaud the government for one thing as well? So in the past few months, they've actually revamped Malaysia's canteen food system. I don't know what to call it. In the past, if I were to subscribe for food for my children in school, it was terrible. It was curry puff, fried everything.
Okay.
Soda or a bottle or a box sugary drink. It was literally just that. And then if they wanted to buy extra food, it was just keropok it was just junk food. So today they've actually revamped and sort of reformulated what can be served. So canteen operators are now forced to change what they serve or they're being booted out. So now my kids have like Mongolian chicken rice or chicken rice, nasi lemak with protein. So it's a very balanced thing. And I think that is a very, very good initiative to start. That's amazing. And it starts with nutrition, I think.
Yes, nutrition plays a huge part. You can never out-train, out-walk bad nutrition, like we all know, right? Or abs are made in the kitchen, very cliche. Yeah, nutrition plays a huge part. And I think in the past, a few corporates have approached me for corporate wellness. Corporate wellness, it shouldn't be just something where you hire a trainer to go there, teach your 50, 100 employees to do some Zumba, yoga, or HIIT training. A lot of time, that's what the corporates in Malaysia know what corporate wellness is. So they end up trying to make me to do those things for them and just those things. And I'm trying to say, hey, look, corporate wellness, you have to approach it with a very holistic manner of looking at what your canteen is serving, especially when they are big companies, they have their own canteen. I walked around the canteen, I'm like, oh my goodness. I talked to the person and say, this needs to change, like what you say with a school canteen. And of course, this person was in charge of HR, and then she knew that it would be very hard to have any power to change this. She would just be like, yeah, just laugh it off. This is where you can make a tiny little bit of shift, but it will give you multiple return in terms of, elevating your employee wellness, energy level, less sickness, all of that. You don't need an instructor to come for the rest of their life with you in your company to teach them how to do HIIT training, strength training, whatever. You need to start with this first. There's so many things that you can implement already in your company before thinking about sending them to a gym, before thinking about having instructors coming in to train them, right? A few things like, hey, potentially you can do some mini challenge internally, 10,000 steps, you get a prize, you get Grab voucher, working with, I think some corporates were working with AIA, having this app. Very, very great initiative. And then of course, there were times when I end up having to come in and run the physical activity or physical fitness side of thing. It was very interesting to see that in the real beginning, the take-up rate out of 500 people, less than 10%, okay? So even if you give it to them for free, people will still say, no, I'm too busy.
But one event is not going to help them to lose weight, right? And they probably don't continue even after that, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, the dropout rate was real. Eventually, after weeks, you would have 10 people showing up, and those 10 people were the ones that already going to the gym, keeping themselves fit. Those were not the people that needed this whole corporate wellness initiative. So the rest stopped coming, right? And eventually they end up saying, okay, we gotta cut it because, my boss say it's not working out.
Yeah, and they're paying for nothing.
Yes.
So it's very interesting you say this because I also spoke to a few GLC and PLC. You were there with the meeting with one of the big developers.
Yeah.
And they were saying that we actually have subsidy for our employees to actually go to a gym and we'll subsidize more than half. See, more than half of your gym membership, and take-up rate was 0. They say 0 because the people who were already going to the gym, they don't want to count, right? They wanted to focus on the employees who were like, okay, definitely in that category where they could be more productive. I mean, put it this way, if big companies are starting to see that if my people are healthier, productivity will go higher, I think it's a good sign, right? But even with a 50% subsidy, no one is joining. It's terrible.
Yep. As the theme of the podcast is, anything to do with this unfair advantage, the edge, the unknown, little known, hidden ideas and strategy. I think the one thing that governments are not seeing is how gym owners operate and how this whole membership thing works, right? Because yes, you can give discount to gym members, but there have been many studies that say people who sign up to gyms don't end up using it. And those are the majority of people.
Yeah.
If I was to be very conservative, more than 60% of people don't use their gym memberships. In fact, it could be more.
Definitely more.
Right? Giving discounts, would it help to solve that problem? No, actually not. What's going to move the needle is the gym owners making sure that the members signing up to something where they actually put in a bit more effort to engage them, right? The moment they don't come for 2 weeks, hey, what's up? I see that you haven't been in. Are you okay? Any of them doing that? Giving discounts will mean that you are going to cut more overhead expenses that could potentially go into this kind of customer service, making sure that people actually use what they pay for. Now, let's just say they use it. Great. But then, are they actually doing what's right outside the gym? Because I think a lot of gym owners and gym concepts has always been like, burn 1,000 calories, right? They advertise that, but then they never approach it in a holistic manner where they actually sit down with them, the members or clients, and go through nutritional recommendation and also lifestyle factors. So those are actually what move the needle, right? The workout is only 10-20% of the success of your goal in health and fitness.
Maybe less.
Yeah, 80% is out there. So by saying that you're gonna give the gym owners the discounts, 80%, to save 100 or 200 ringgit per month so that they can attract more people, I don't think it works like that.
But the problem is, like I said, right, even if for some reason, Choi Sanya gave us money every day and we're able to give 50% discount on gym memberships or personal training and all that, would that move the needle in the fight for obesity and diabetes?
No, not at all.
How many times do you know someone who plays 6 to 7 hours of pickleball or badminton or go cycling and they still look the same, right? Because what do they do after 3 hours of badminton? They go to the mama store, right, and eat 1,000 calories when they only burn 500 calories. So nutrition actually moves the needle. And I know what you're all thinking, yeah, but you guys are fit for life, right? What did you know about weight loss? I used to be 85 kilograms, or I used to have fat, right, man boobs and all that. So I do understand. And back then, my fitness journey started with me just walking every day. Because why? Because of my weight and everything. I couldn't really gym because my knees would hurt, my joints would hurt. And for context, I was only 29 years old back then, right? Joint pain and everything. So if I were to straight away head to the gym, and which I actually did, and I did lift it back then a very small weight, I hurt my back. So I couldn't gym for another 6 weeks. And I actually had gym phobia after that. So my journey to get to where I am today took me about 10 years of a lot of mistakes. Imagine that, and let alone, let's say the typical Malaysian who doesn't even understand nutrition, doesn't even know how to hydrate or sleep properly, and then you want them to go to the gym. Because think about it, I think we need to target what is the lowest hanging fruit. And lowest hanging fruit is, I believe, is nutrition. Because think about it, what's easier? Eating one less curry puff, which is say 350 calories, or running at a certain pace and tempo quite hard for 1 hour, which will also get you to lose that same amount. Because that's what's required. And a lot of people don't understand this. Of course, there are many nuances in the calorie burning and all that, but I'm just really comparing it. So the gym is high effort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another thing that is the opposite, low effort, is sleep.
Yes.
All right. So if you don't sleep well, what happens is the next day you don't have so much energy, so you're less inclined wanting to do much. Going to the gym is the last thing you think about. You're trying to survive the day.
And then when you have less energy, you drink more bubble tea to give yourself more energy.
Exactly. So that's what the craving,
Yes.
where the craving come from. Here's the stats here. Nearly 9 in 10 Malaysians suffer from sleep problems. That's
9 in 10.
Yes, and this is based on a research by
We need a
Sleep
sleep
Sonar.
tax. we need a sleep tax. Everyone needs to wear a tracker, and
Yep.
if your sleep quality is poor, then you're gonna pay more tax.
We also know that sleep plays a huge role in your well-being, your health, maybe your metabolism and all that stuff, right? So yeah, there's just so many things that need to be looked at before spending 3 years to just work on this 80% reduction, which saves us 150 ringgit per month, helping gym owners out there that have been struggling to finally break even in their business.
I think it has to be a win-win situation for all, but I also think that the government needs to play the unfair advantage game. Talk to people in the industry. Have a panel discussion. Because 3 years to come up to this, who were they speaking to? No offense to whoever they were speaking to,
Yep,
but they didn't approach a lot of the key figures
exactly.
in nutrition, in movement, maybe people who are experts in sleep, stress, a lot of people who are stressed at work, therapy and all that. Why are these people not being approached? The way I see it, and this is my personal opinion, so think of it what you mean. My point of view is, I feel like the government or whoever implemented this does not understand what it takes to actually be fit and healthy. They don't understand it at all. They think that, okay, make gym cheaper lah, people will go. That's like me telling people, okay, great, So I'm gonna give you Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad book. Give to everyone, give to all Malaysian. Everyone will be rich, man. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I feel. I feel it's so, for lack of a better word, so half-arsed.
People like us, we do have the unfair advantage to know, these little nuances of how we can actually, help people to live healthier, be fitter. We know that gym membership reduction is definitely not going to solve anything, right? It will not help pull in more people who are not active, or it will not actually increase the consumption. And I'll be happy to, have a discussion with anyone that really want to think of solutions that can actually move the needle. I know it's not going to be short term. Nothing is going to work short term, because to fix the root cause is what we need, not the symptom.
This isn't even fixing the symptom. This is just hyping people for nothing.
Yeah.
Because now people are looking at gym owners as, these guys, they're not going to cut their gym membership. They're going to live off the fat of all the profits. I mean, I'm sorry to say this, but yes, we are profitable.
Extra 200 ringgit, is that going to change your life?
It's not.
Maybe you can upgrade from an HRV to CRV? No.
No, you can't.
No, you can't, right? You can't.
No, I mean, look, put it this way. I believe that if people work hard enough and they get rich, they deserve it. We should not bash gym owners or any business saying that, oh, look at them, they're making a lot of money, they're making a lot of revenue. Yeah, we should make them poorer. Because I feel like that's the languaging that's being used in the comments. These gym owners won't, they won't bring their prices down, they're greedy. Like, how are we greedy? Again, maybe those people have never run a business before, so they don't understand. And think of it this way. When you're an owner, when you are an entrepreneur, the amount of hours and time that you spend in your business, if done well, you get compensated in the same rate, right?
Yep, and 9 out of 10 fails.
Yeah. So are you gonna tell Tim Cooks from Apple, hey, you driving a nice car, all why your phone's still so expensive? You still buy a Apple iPhone, right? That is 7,000 to 8,000 ringgit. So sometimes the messaging is so, I know I'm a bit off topic here, but the messaging is so misconstrued. The typical Malaysian, right, always want to find who the villain is. Someone does something that doesn't move the needle and they're the hero, and then you just need to find the villain. And I feel like this time around, we are the villains. Like, what the hell, man? Yeah.
And one last thing is, like, there was one friend of mine who was a politician.
Cannot say the name, right?
I cannot say the name. And then he commented, right, because I posted on my Instagram, he commented like, oh, she's just fishing for votes. Okay, well, if you were talking about some other measures, whatever, maybe, yeah, true. But the thing is, like, what kind of vote are you trying to fish? Because the fitness industry is so small, right? It's like the middle child that no one cares about. And the amount of like people working in the fitness industry or consuming gyms, nothing significant, there's no vote to fish there. Are you gonna fish for my vote? Or are you gonna fish for the people that sign up at the gym vote where they say 5 ringgit? I don't think it makes sense. I think if there was anything, sure, fine. If you wanna give anything to fish for vote, just take off SST. Make an exception. Just like how you're making an exception for this licensing matter. Right? Take off SST.
Yeah, then you actually really pass on savings to consumers, right? What, 6 to, how many percent is it?
8.
8%?
We need to ask our accountant. Anyway, the thing is this, right? If you feel like, oh, but then that's not unfair for other industry, blah, blah, blah. Look, yeah, I know. It's not unfair, but I believe our industry is the only field that can actually help to make a difference. We are the catalyst to any kind of health policies that government want to instill, because we are at the community level and we can then help facilitate a lot of things, right? Alongside with government sectors, people. And so the thing is, you might say, oh, but then the government is gonna lose out on the SST collection from the fitness businesses. Dude, we are like so small compared to 100 other industries. You're not gonna miss out a lot anyway from us, right? The amount of SST you collect from us compared to F&B, compared to a lot of industries out there, is nothing.
I think people need to understand that if as a nation we're able to move the needle on obesity and diabetes, the overall impact, not just on our tax money, the overall impact on the economy and livelihood, everyone is gonna really, really drastically increase as well. So I think we need to be very intentional rather than point fingers, who's the hero, who's the villain. I think everyone should work together. All relevant industries should work together, right? Because I had a thought, right? Sugar, if you buy sugar from a shop, it's 2 ringgit 80 cents to 3 ringgit per kilogram. It's cheap. It's so cheap. But if you want to buy chicken and meat, they cost a whole lot more. Vegetables cost a whole lot more. So why is the government subsidizing the things that actually move the needle? You can also argue, oh, but if we subsidize too much, then we'll lose money. If you look at the hundreds of millions that will be spent on healthcare because of non-communicable diseases, obesity, diabetes, and so on and so forth, it's in the billions.
And the ripple effect that came with it, right? Family members have to deal with a family member that's sick, right? Not able to go to work because they needed to take them to hospital, take care of them. That mental load that no one talks about, right? Having to take care of these people who are sick. And then the ripple effect beyond that is like, wow, endless.
So, and then in turn, these people who can be productive in society have a limit, have a cap. So again, we can talk about this for hours on end. But I think we need to identify what the root cause is. And the root cause is behavior. And what is causing this behavior? Because let's be real, if I wanted to drink a healthy drink, like let's say water. Do you know that water, some mineral water costs more than a can of Coke? Help me understand this. Or if my child is hungry, it's cheaper for me to buy them a cookie than protein, like something healthy, like chicken. Funny enough, healthy and nutrient-dense foods are expensive. They're more expensive than junk food. So how will that help? I feel like if we can tackle that mysterious price disparity, we can really help. So think of who are the people behind all this. I know it's going to sound conspiracy theory, but you know, sugar industry and all that. There's a lot of money there, but they're being subsidized. So why are we not subsidizing healthy food as well? Again, this conversation can go on for very, very long because there's so many things that can be done. Yeah.
All right, so basically that is all from us today. If there's any inputs that you would like to have, if there's any potential that we can also help make a difference and move the needle, because we do have the unfair advantage of understanding a lot of ins and outs of running gym business, how to get people moving healthy back into their healthy selves. So do reach out to us and comment below, like, subscribe, and share with people who might resonate with this.
And maybe can move the needle too.
Yes. All right. See you in the next episode.